Good morning, everyone. I'll start this talk with a prayer to the Gurus. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. I bow down to Supreme Almighty God, especially today in the form of the Divine Mother. I bow down to saints and sages of all times, of all places, of all religions. I bow down to the beautiful lineage of our Kriya Yoga masters, in particular to my Gurudev Paramahamsa Hariharananda ji and my Guruji Paramahamsa Pragyan ji. I bow down to the mother who gave birth to this body. I bow down to the divinity within you all. Jai Guru. Good morning again. This is Srinidhi Baba from Denver, and today I'm visiting Tampa. I'm speaking from Tampa. I decided to speak on the Divine Mother because starting from tomorrow, for folks in United States, starting from tomorrow, there's 9 days of the Divine Mother. For those in India, it starts on Tuesday because of the lunar calendar. The 9 days then culminate on April 21st with the celebration of the birthday of Lord Rama. So these 9 days are extremely auspicious to remember the Divine Mother, and they are in Sanskrit called Navaratri. Navaratri refers to 9 nights of the Mother, Divine Mother. And there are 4 different Navaratris that happen in a year. This is the spring Navaratri. There is a even more popular one, which is the autumnal Navaratri in October. This year comes on October 17th, I believe. And, so Vasanta Navaratri or Chaitra Navaratri that is coming up tomorrow for people in the US is a second most popular one. And extremely important to remember the Divine Mother in these 9 days. Now, one may question, well, God is one, formless, and absolute. Why should we remember God in any form, right? So, but the thing is, when you remember God in a certain form, you develop a personal relationship with that God, in that form. And so it is easier for many people to progress in their spirituality when they do that. In fact, many masters have practiced this. Masters have had their own personal deities. So, for example, Paramahamsa Yogananda ji, if you look at his personal deity, is his mother Kali. And if you look at chapter 22 of Autobiography of a Yogi, you will see that Paramahamsa Yogananda ji is requested by his eldest sister Roma, requesting him to reform her husband. So Yogananda's brother-in-law, Satish Chandra Bose, because he was pretty much an atheist. He did not believe in, anything, uh, sages, gods, anything. So, and he used to constantly put down while Roma would be, you know, busy doing all these worships. So she requested Yoganji to help with this problem. And Yoganji and she planned this trip to this temple, Dakshineshwara temple in Kolkata, along with the brother-in-law. Somehow the brother-in-law accepted to come, and they went to, Yoganji mentions in the chapter that they went early in the morning. So he started meditating in the inner hall, in the hall in front of the Divine Mother's statue in Dakshineshwar temple, next to a pillar, for 5 hours. And he intensely meditated, trying to get the mother to appear. And with all that effort, still it didn't happen. Then he moved on to the courtyard, and he was praying to the mother in the scorching sun. At that point, the mother blessed him with a supreme divine vision, in her all glory. He could see her, he could see all the entire city behind everything else, but the mother herself was magnified humongously. The temple was magnified. And he requests the mother to change this brother-in-law of his to become a more devoted person. And the Divine Mother grants that wish. And soon after that, everything comes back to normal. And a complete change happens in the brother-in-law. And, he becomes as Yoganji describes in that chapter, he became a silent saint. So there is this beautiful account of Yoganji loving mother, Divine Mother, and that is, his favorite form of the deity. If you look at Paramahamsa Hariharananda, our Gurudev, he loved also in Divine Mother as Mother Kali. In fact, he, with his own hand, sculpted a statue of that mother, and he used to worship that mother in a little small room in Karar Ashram. We can even see that even today when you go to Karar Ashram. And as we know, he was blessed by the Divine Mother's vision in 1958 to basically bless him and asked him to guide him to essentially bring and spread the word of Kriya Yoga and spirituality to the world. So accordingly, he went ahead and performed that action. And he spread the spirituality first in India and, of course, all over the world. Then there is the example of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself, who was so God intoxicated with Divine Mother that he saw Divine Mother all the time. And in fact, Swami Vivekananda, his foremost disciple, when he asked Ramakrishna about if he has seen God, and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa responded, "I see God even more clearly than I'm seeing you." That's the state of Ramakrishna. And there is a beautiful story where Sri Ramakrishna was a priest in the temple of Dakshineshwar, always lovingly serving the mother, and sometimes sobbing and falling to the feet of the mother, Divine Mother, in ecstasy. And there is this one story where his employer, a pious widow called Rani Rasmani, visits the temple, and she requests Sri Ramakrishna to sing a song for the mother, so that she can hear his melodious voice. And as he is singing, he stops in the middle and slaps Rani Rasmani, saying, "Why do you thinking of those external thoughts? You should be devoted to the mother, focused on the mother and mother alone." And that slap, of course, normally if you were to slap your boss, you'd be fired from the job. But in this case, though, obviously Sri Ramakrishna was able to perceive the thoughts of this Rani Rasmani. But that slap actually transformed her into ecstasy. She went into divine ecstasy, and she was in that state while all the people, her maid servants and the guards in the temple, came rushing to remove Ramakrishna, just waiting for Rani Rasmani to give the order to do so. Eventually, when Rani Rasmani came back to herself, she noticed the commotion and she said not to do anything to Sri Ramakrishna because he actually, did the right thing, getting her back into the focus on the mother instead of thinking about a lawsuit. So as you can see, there are these three examples that I talked about of great divine masters having this personal relationship with God. But it's not just them, of course. Even if you look at our Guruji, Paramahamsa Hariharananda, he has written, these two books. One is on divine motherhood, and a three-volume series of Only Her Grace. Beautiful books. And clearly, he also, although he may not say much about it in terms of the divine visions he has obtained, of the Divine Mother, he also is extremely devoted to Divine Mother. In fact, there's a beautiful story that he mentions in the Divine Motherhood book. He mentions this lady came to him, one of the devotees came to him with her child and said, "This is my child's birthday. Can you please bless him or her?" And Guruji said, "Is it his or her birthday? Is it the child's birthday? Or is it your birthday?" And of course, the lady was a little confused about that. And he clarified that, it is surely child's birthday, but it's also the day when you attain motherhood, isn't it? So it is your motherhood's day as well. So that's so beautiful, that he indicated that it's important to also celebrate that day as a motherhood day, not just for the child's birthday. In fact, the same thing applies when we practice, when we, for example, I mentioned the birth of Lord Rama, the 9 days on April 21st, that's going to fall on this year. It's the day of his mother becoming a mother as well. So it is Kausalya's motherhood day. Similarly, when we celebrate, Christmas, and the December 25th, the day of the birthday of Jesus Christ, we should really also practice the, remember Mother Mary and celebrate the motherhood of Mother Mary. Mother Mary, of course, is a great example of a mother that has gone through a tremendous amount of suffering, which she bore with all her patience, love, and compassion and simplicity. First of all, she became she became pregnant with Jesus when she was a virgin. That must have been very hard to explain to everyone. The world probably did not necessarily look at it positively. And then After that, she had to run away from home and give birth to Jesus in a stable on a cold, dark, wintry night. And so, and she had to support, Jesus at that time in that stable. And then she later got separated from Jesus when Jesus was only 12 years old. Jesus went in search of, Jesus loved, God as Father, so he went in search of the Father. And so he was gone for 18 years. And when he came back, he didn't even refer to her as his mother. He was basically a renunciate at that point. He treated her just like anyone else. But of course, Mother Mary didn't change, her love for her son. And as as things progress, you can imagine the agony she went through when Jesus was nailed to the cross and crucified. It's immense amount of agony that she must have gone through. And so a motherhood, divine, in this case, Mother Mary is also a divine mother, and that divine mother had to bear such sufferings, and still she did that with her simplicity and love. Now, it's not just the um, humans, that are mothers. With even the prayers and mantras are mothers as well. So, if you look at the definition of mantra, Manaha trayate iti mantraha. So one that liberates the mind is mantra. So the effect of the mantras and the prayers is actually to purify ourselves, our mind, so that it can be more receptive to the spiritual energy, to be more conducive for love and devotion. And of course, I want to share with you some of the mantras and prayers so that we can go deeper into understanding that. So one of the greatest mantras, of course, is the Brahma Gayatri mantra. So the Brahma Gayatri mantra, I hope you can see this. The Brahma Gayatri mantra goes like this: Om Bhur Bhava Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. So it is basically, the meaning is we meditate, or I meditate on that supreme effulgent one who created the entire universe, who gives the light to the sun. Let that self-effulgent being enlighten my intellect so that I can progress and reach my perfection. So very powerful mantra that is something that is to be recited on a regular basis. Now, mantras and prayers are not the only ones in terms of, as mothers, we cannot forget our beloved Mother Earth as well. So there's a simple prayer for Mother Earth that we practice during when we sit for fire ceremony or other rituals. It goes like this: Om Prithvi Tvaya Data Loka Devitvam Vishnuna Dhruta Tvancha Dharayamam Devi Pavitram Kuru Chasanam. So the meaning is that, oh Mother Earth, you're bearing the entire world, and you are in turn supported by God. Please bear my weight, O Mother Earth, and make this seat that I'm sitting on sacred and auspicious. So it's a beautiful prayer that essentially sanctifying your seat before you start performing the particular ritual that you're performing. So as you can see, and of course, it's not just this prayer. We need to take care of Mother Earth. We need to make sure that we use our resources very sparingly and make sure that we avoid any kind of pollution. And that's a topic that has been discussed before, in last December. Of course, one of the wonderful prayers that has come from from within, out of an expression of love, is the prayer of Saint Francis. The prayer goes, "Oh Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace," and so on. But look at the beauty there. "Oh Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace." Basically expressing himself. Look at the surrender that comes in there. So the prayer that he is, all his practice is clearly seen there, that he is completely surrendering himself as an instrument of God's peace. Beautiful, beautiful prayer. And of course, those who are practicing Kriya Yoga are probably listening to that, which is the Ajapa Japa, a continuous practice of chanting without really chanting, in any outward way. Now, going into the 9 days of the Mother, Divine Mother, I want to mention 3 verses that are practiced as part of the Chandi chanting that is done typically during this time. These are 3 verses that are part of what is called Devi Kavacham. These are very, I would say, key verses, an important set of verses that one can chant, at least for these 9 days, if you cannot chant the entire Chandi. So let's go through these 3 verses and understand them a little bit deeper. First one, verse number 3 says, "Pratamam Chaila Putri cha, Dvitiyam Brahmacharini, Trutiyam Chandra Ganteti, Kushmandeti Chaturtakam." So these are different names of the Divine Mother. Pratamam means the very first one, Shaila Putri. She is considered the daughter of Shaila, Sage Shaila. It also means the daughter of the Himalayas. The more metaphorical meaning is that, the Shaila or stone, represents something firm, something strong. So one needs to be firm and strong in their determination to reach the end goal of perfection and realization. So she is basically, this particular name is saying one should be, one should start with that firm determination in order to reach, as we progress in these 9 days, or for that matter, any other day, in terms of our practice. Secondly, Dvitiyam Brahmacharini. Brahmacharini means somebody who is unmarried, one who is celibate, one who is roaming always in the Supreme Almighty. Now, we know that the mother was married to Lord Shiva, so it also means one who is, married to Supreme Consciousness, in divine consciousness, and one who helps devotees reach that state of divine consciousness. The third one, Tutiyam, the third name is Chandraghanta. Chandraghanta, Chandra represents moon, Ganta means bell. So it represents essentially the divine sound that we hear within, because the Chandra represents the mind, the moon represents the mind. So the Ganta is the bell. So the divine sound that we hear within our mind that leads us to essentially, more peace and calmness. The fourth name is Kushmanda. Kushmanda has few meanings. Ka means, it can be split into Ka, Ushma, and Ka represents the head. Ushma means heat, and Anda means egg. So when we have the divine sound that is born within, that leads us to more love and more devotion within. That, as you know, the egg hatches and gives rise to an offspring. Likewise, with the because of the heat that is put in, the birds put the heat of their body to hatch the egg. Similarly, here in our head, the heat of our practice essentially leads to love and devotion within. So that's what that represents. Going to the next one, verse number 4. Panchamam skandamati shashtam katyayani cha saptamam kalaratriti mahagauriti ashtakam. So Panchamam, the fifth name, is Skandamata. Skandamata represents that she is the mother of Skanda. Skanda is another name for Lord Shanmukha. Lord Shanmukha is a six-faced, son of Mother Parvati, who is considered the commander-in-chief for the divine army. Now, the six faces of Skanda or Shanmukha represents the ability to fight the six inner enemies within us. Kama, the desires; Krodha, anger; Lobha, the greed; Moha, infatuation or attachment; Mada, vanity; and Matsalya, jealousy. So essentially, this represents the ability, giving us the ability to fight these six inner enemies within us. The next name, Shashtam, the sixth name, is Katyayini. Katyayini, Ka means the head, Ati means extreme, Ayini means to move. So she causes extreme movement in terms of thoughts, thoughts that come as a result of the fighting the six inner enemies. And we may go into more worldly nature because we lost our battle, so to speak, or it can take us up into higher realms of consciousness. So Katyayani is one who can take you into worldly pleasures as well as, towards liberation. But if one persists, then the seventh name represents Kalaratri. Kalaratri, Kala means time. Kala also means death. And Ratri refers to night or darkness. And so when one sincerely tries to fight the inner enemies, the mother helps them as Kalaratri to destroy the death itself, destroy the, these enemies, inner enemies. And as a result, the eighth name, Mahagauri, results. Maha means supreme, Gauri means fair one, or one who is fair. But here it represents the divine light. So one starts to perceive the divine light dancing all around everywhere, whether eyes are open or eyes are closed. Going into the next verse, number 5, it says, Navamam Siddhidatri cha Navadurga Prakirtita Uktani Tani Namani Brahmanyeva Mahatmana. The ninth name, corresponding to the ninth day, is the Siddhidatri. Once a devotee has come to this state of perfection where he or she is seeing the light, divine light, dancing everywhere, he finds the divinity everywhere, then that going deeper into that essentially leads that devotee to reach that perfection. She is the bestower of that perfection. And so these nine names is the um, how the Durga is worshipped. And this is how, in fact, this Devi Kavacham was recited by Lord Brahma. And so also refers to the Vedas. Brahma refers to the creator, or it could also refer to the Vedas. So just to, summarize the nine names, you start with Shailaputri, you start with firm determination to reach the goal. Secondly, you go into brahmacharini, essentially being, following certain austerities, such as celibacy, to practice the meditation that you're forging towards. As you do that, you listen to Chandraganta, the divine sound within your mind, and that results in Kushmanda, leads to the development of love and devotion within. But as we do this, the negative forces now come into picture, where you have to fight the 6 inner enemies. And so Skandamata, the mother, helps you to fight with your devotion to her, helps you to fight these inner enemies. And in that process of that, this fight with the inner enemies, you may go up towards spirituality, winning over those inner enemies, or go down. And that's Katyayani. So if you are sincere enough and deep enough in terms of your sincere practice, understanding this mantra, then you will be able to go further. And Kalaratri essentially helps you to destroy those enemies. And that results in Mahagauri, the divine light, seeing the divine light everywhere. And further, as go deeper into that, it goes into Siddhidatri. You go into divine realization and perfection. So beautiful. So this mantra itself shows, the path of a devotee, taking from the beginning of, determination of, the goal, all the way to realization. So I recommend folks to please practice this mantra. If you can practice the entire chandi, at least practice, these 3 verses to, basically get the Divine Mother's blessings, and practice it with understanding, practice with love and devotion, and you will see the effect of it as you practice in your meditation. I'd like to conclude a common prayer that we say in our ashrams to God and Gurus. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha saka tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. O God, O Gurus, Mata, you're my mother. Pita, you're my father. You are my closest relative. You're my dearest friend. You're my knowledge. You're my wealth. I offer everything of me to you, O God, O Gurus. Please bless us. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Let everyone be healthy, happy, peaceful, contented. Let them be able to perceive the divinity, the auspiciousness within. Let them not be afflicted by any agony or sorrows. O God, let there be peace within us, in our surroundings, in the entire universe. Let there be peace in our physical, astral, and our causal realms. Let there be peace in our sattvic qualities, our rajasic qualities, and tamasic qualities. Let there be peace in our past, present, and future. Om Amen. Thank you all. I would like to go into meditation, a general meditation. Please sit straight, comfortably straight. Your back is comfortably straight. You can be sitting on a chair, that's still okay. Keep your legs apart. Concentrate 3 inches inside the midpoint of eyebrows. 3 to 4 inches inside the midpoint of eyebrows in the soul center. Calmly watching the breath. Calmly watching each inhalation, each exhalation. Not trying to change the breath in any way, but to just observe it. Now take a slow, long, deep inhalation from the abdomen, so to speak, all the way, filling the entire lungs slowly. Slowly exhale. Again, take a slow, long, deep inhalation. Slowly exhale. Now this time, take a slow, long, deep inhalation. Hold the breath and bow down as much as you can. Exhale, normal breath. Still watching the breath, each inhalation and exhalation. Calmly concentrate inside the head. Remember the Divine Mother, whichever mother you like to remember. Mother Kali, Mother Durga, Mother Mary, Mother Lakshmi, Mother Saraswati, any form of the Divine Mother. Again, take a deep inhalation, slow, long, deep inhalation, and slowly sit up, exhale. We'll practice a few slow, long, deep inhalations. We'll take in a positive quality with each inhalation and exhale a negative quality from within us. Slowly inhale love. Exhale desires. Inhale peace. Exhale anger. Inhale benevolence. Exhale greed. Inhale dispassion. Exhale attachment. Inhale humility. Exhale vanity. Inhale gratitude. Exhale jealousy. Inhale courage. Exhale fear. Inhale faith. Exhale doubt. Inhale devotion. Exhale hatred. Inhale concentration. Exhale restlessness. Inhale truth. Exhale falsehood. Now calmly concentrate in the soul center. You may remember the Divine Mother if you like, of any particular form or no form at all. Calmly concentrating there, avoiding any other thoughts. Meditate for a few minutes. Slowly come back. Still continue to experience the calmness, peace within. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the blessings of God and Gurus be upon all of us. Let everyone be healthy, happy, peaceful, loving, compassionate, and divine. May all of us reach our divine goal of perfection with the blessings of the Divine Mother. Thank you all. I put on to you all. Jai Krishna.